in the dirt for a month can create something that looks like, so what? This hair wasn't in dirt for a month. It was in the back of a car. The point is that that hair was from a dead body. Now, how do we know that that was Kaylee's body? Two ways. The first is by mitochondrial DNA. Mitochondrial DNA testing was done on the hair and also on Casey Anthony. That mitochondrial comparison proves that that hair came from some maternal relative of Casey Anthony, which means it had to be either from Kaylee, Casey, Cindy, Lee, or Cindy's mother. Okay? Well, we know it's not Casey's because it's too long and Casey's hair is treated. So we know it's not Casey's. We know it's not Cindy's because it's the wrong color, it's not treated, and it's too long. We know it's not Lee's because it's too long. Lee's hair is short. This hair is 9 inches long. And we know it's not Cindy's mother because Cindy's mother, well, let's see, Cindy's mother had been in the car once, but Cindy's mother's hair is treated, and this hair is not. This hair could only come from Kaylee Marie Anthony. And remember, the testimony is that the hairs actually taken from Kaylee's body also had the band, just like the hair from the trunk. The only difference was the hairs from the body, the roots had actually completely decomposed, where one in the trunk had not. As hard as it is to accept, when Casey Anthony was at Blockbuster on June 16th, walking arm in arm with her boyfriend Tony, Kaylee was in the trunk of her car in the early stages of decomposition. When Casey returned to the house on the 17th or 18th, she backed her car into the garage with the intention of burying Kaylee in the backyard. She went to Brian Berner and borrowed a shovel. Based upon the dog alerts in the backyard, she in all likelihood actually took Kaylee's body back to the backyard and set it down for a period of time. Was digging too much work? Perhaps. And she decided instead to toss Kaylee's body in a swamp. The evidence in this case proves beyond any reasonable doubt that Casey Anthony decided on June 16th that something had to be sacrificed. That the conflict between the life that she wanted and the life that was thrust upon her was simply irreconcilable, and something had to give. She chose to sacrifice her child to live the life that she wanted. She took her child, she took her life, and she put her in the trunk and forgot about her. After a couple of days, she couldn't forget anymore, and she disposed of her body in a swamp. These are the facts that you have heard, and these are the facts that prove, beyond a reasonable doubt, that Casey Anthony is guilty of murder in the first degree, and that that murder is premeditated. The defense says and will say that we can't prove how Kaylee Anthony died. Let me echo the words of Dr. Jan Garavaglia, the medical examiner in this case, when she said, "No one, there is no good reason to put duct tape over the face of a child." Why would you put duct tape over the face of a child? Well, there's two reasons. One is perhaps to silence them. But then why do you need three? Remember, in this case, there wasn't one piece of duct tape placed over Kaylee's face. There were three, overlapping at angles, placed over her face. Why do you need three? What does three do that one does not? One would certainly silence her, if for some reason that's what you wanted to do, as brutal as that would be. Why do you need three? You need three because your purpose is not to simply silence the child. Your purpose is to make sure the child cannot breathe. The first piece goes over the mouth, but that doesn't secure the nose. The second piece goes over the nose, but you could still have some gaps, so you have to be thorough. You have to have three. 1, 2, 3. And then the child dies. There is simply no other reason, there is no other justification, there is no common sense. There's just no reason to put duct tape over the face of a child, living or dead. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is proof beyond a reasonable doubt of how Kaylee died. Because there simply is no other explanation for why you put duct tape over the nose and mouth of a child. And based upon the photographs you have seen, it is crystal clear that that's where the tape was. That the medical examiner told you, the forensic anthropologist told you, that there's no question that that tape was on Kaylee's face before her body decomposed, because otherwise the mandible wouldn't have been in place, and it was. You can see the photographs of the tape. I don't want to show them to you again. You can look at them in deliberation, but you can see the photographs. The duct tape is curved slightly under the jaw. There are even strands of the duct tape that go under the jaw. That tape was placed there with one singular purpose. Now, we can only hope that the chloroform was used before the tape was applied, so that Kaylee went peacefully, without fear. But go she did. And she died because she could not breathe. She died because she had 3 pieces of duct tape over her nose and mouth, and she died because her mother decided that the life that she wanted was more important. This murder was premeditated, and the defendant is guilty. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're going to take a 15-minute recess at this time. I'm going to ask you not to discuss